Hey everybody, how's it going? Most likely you are probably trapped, like me, in your house with nothing better to do. So in the coming weeks and months, I plan on probably putting out a couple of tutorials teaching some really basic sleight of hand. That way it keeps you kind of busy. What we have here is kind of an alteration on what we call the Erdnase color change. It's by my friend Semjon Sidanov. And it's an incredibly visual way that he does it. I think it's really a step up from the original classic. He was kind enough to let me share it on my channel, so here it is. I hope you guys enjoy it. Grab a deck of cards and let's go.
Hey guys, allow me to present to you my handling and my touches on the Erdnase transformation third method. I used to do this color change a lot. It is a great technique. It is not that difficult. It is very visual and it is kind of a hidden treasure in Erdnase. Not that many people actually use this color change. Everybody knows the first transformation from expert at the card table, since everybody literally refers to it as the Erdnase color change. But not that many magicians learn the other transformation or color changes from this amazing book. But they are all great. All of the color changes in Erdnase are great. They all use different mechanics which are very interesting and they can be all done very beautifully. I especially like the color change which we are about to learn right now because of how simple and straightforward it is, and it is great in a close-up setting, but it also works great in a parlor situation. In Erdnase, this color change is only described in a few lines of text without any illustrations, which is probably the reason why most people skip this one. But we are going to learn this technique in great detail and we are going to start with the grip. So, to give you a brief overview of what is about to happen, we are going to use our left thumb to move a card from the back of the deck into our rear palm. So we are going to steal this card into our palm and it is going to look something like that. And then we are going to replace this card on the face of the deck. To be able to do that, we're going to need a very particular grip which will allow us to steal this card without any movement of the deck. So first and foremost, we are going to use an elevated dealer's grip with our index finger on the front short side of the deck, with our middle, our ring and our little finger. They are going to be spread evenly on the right long side of the deck and our thumb will be resting on the left side of the deck. Please notice, this is very important, that none of my fingers protrude above the top of the deck. So this, something like this, will never work. The grip has to be like that. I'm only touching the deck with the first joints of my fingers. In the transformation fourth method, Erdnase advises us to use an elevated straddle grip. So he wants us to use our pinky to have more control over the deck. But I noticed that with enough practice, this grip works just as well, so I prefer to use this grip, but you can try anything you want. I just like this one better. So to be able to steal the card, we must be able to hold the deck without any aid of the thumb. For that, we are going to tilt our hand to the side with the face of the deck towards our audience, and then we're going to balance the entire deck on the first joint of our index finger. So on this joint right here, and this way we are going to be able to remove the thumb without any movement of the deck. The first time you try it, you're going to have to move your fingers around until you find the perfect spot, but eventually you're going to be able to come into this position without any problems. And if you can do that, then you are ready for the steal. To steal the card into my rear palm, I'm going to place my hand in front of the upper half of the deck and I'm going to clench my fist. My inner monologue here is that I need to gather my magical powers, and to do that I need to rub my hand to get it going. So this little move doesn't only provide cover for the technique, but it also adds an extra magical element to the color change. So you can come up with a gesture of your own, but for me it gets the job done. Whatever we do, as soon as our hand covers the upper half of the deck, our left thumb instantly is going to go behind the deck and contact the card which is about to be stolen. We then are going to open our right hand, and in that exact moment we're going to start pushing the bottom card with our thumb to the top. It is important right now that our right hand doesn't move parallel to the deck. It moves at a slight angle like that. This makes the steal much easier. When the card protrudes about halfway, we are going to contact the upper side of the card with our rear palm. Our left thumb continues pushing the card upward until the card jumps into the rear palm. And of course, we're trying to do that without any sound. As soon as that happens, we are going to return the thumb to its initial position, and now we can continue to move our hand downwards, and the card in our palm is going to balance on the upper left corner of the deck. This is the corner which points towards our body. The card is now ready to be replaced. The steal is the most difficult part of this technique. We're going to have to practice a lot, and we're going to have to learn to time the movements of our right hand and our left thumb. So we need to make sure that the card is not flashing while we are moving it upwards and downwards again. This is going to take a lot of practice in front of a mirror and in front of a camera, but it's not that difficult. It's just something you need to be aware of. So we also need to make sure that our left hand doesn't move at all. So we do not want this to happen, right? This is bad. To make sure that we don't use our left hand, I would advise you to practice now and again to do this color change while your left hand is resting on the table or on your knee. So this way you're going to be able to do the technique without the movement of your left hand. And we also need to make sure that our left thumb applies as little pressure as possible, which is going to prevent the deck from moving when we are still in the card. So when we can do all of that, when we are able to steal the card in a fluent and silent motion, then we are ready to replace the card and to provide a color change. To replace the card in a magical way, we are going to, as I've already said, balance the stolen card on the upper left corner of the deck. The replacement happens in my case in two motions. On the first motion, we are going to expose the upper index of the card in between our fingers in a small circular motion. We are then going to start a bigger circular motion, and we are going to cover the deck with our entire palm just for a second, and then we are going to expose the effect that the card has changed in between our fingers again. And then after just a brief second, we're going to start moving our hand away, and we're going to show that the entire card has changed. So for the first moment, we want them to feel like just a little bit of the card has changed, and then the rest of it changes. This is what I want them to feel. If done properly, it is going to look like the card just changes in between our fingers, but it is going to take some practice, but I'm sure that you are going to be able to make it happen. Have fun with it. You now know how to perform this color change, so there is only one thing left to say: don't rush it. Try to move as slowly and as gracefully as possible. To quote S.W. Erdness himself, palming the back card in this manner can be done very rapidly, but a slow movement is satisfactory. So practice it a lot, make it look beautiful. I wish you all the best. Bye.